Hey guys, it's Miss Bianchi again. Happy Friday. I hope you've enjoyed your week and that you did some fun stuff, as much fun as you possibly could while being stuck inside your house. But today's a nice day, so I hope you guys got outside. We're gonna do special products of binomials today. I think you guys will really like it because I think it's a lot easier than what we've been doing the last couple of days. So let's, go ahead and go through it. I'm gonna start here, just reading this little blurb to you. When multiplying a binomial by another binomial, there are two kinds of special products. It says kids. Let's make that kinds. Special products that may result. So these are called perfect square trinomials, the result of squaring a binomial. Now, a binomial is two terms, so that means a trinomial is three terms. Let's go ahead and write that down. Now, I'm going to deal with a plus b squared and a minus b squared. Now, remember, when you have anything squared, it's telling you to expand, right? So here, this is really a plus b times a plus b. So that's what it looks like if you were to expand it. Now, I can FOIL, right, or double distribute. So I get a times a, which is a squared. A times b, which is ab. I'm going to write it in alphabetical order. Make sure you do that as well. Otherwise, you might get confused. B times a, that's really a times b, right? Multiplication, doesn't matter the order. So that's still going to be plus ab. And then b times b is b squared, just like x times x is x squared. Okay, now you would combine the like terms here. You have 1ab plus 1ab, which is 2ab. And the other things are going to come down. Okay, so that would be your result. Your result would be a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Now this is going to make more sense when we go through an example, okay? I want you to write here just a little blurb. The first and last term get squared. Okay, that's why you get a squared and b squared. Now, the middle term is twice the product of the first and last term. Okay. Again, it's going to make more sense when we go through an example. Make sure you get that written down. I'll give you a second. Okay, you can always go back and pause if you need to. So for examples, let's say I have x plus 9 squared. Okay, now I'm going to show you both ways just so we can, try and get the hang of it, okay? This tells me to expand, so this would be x plus 9 times x plus 9. And then I could FOIL. So x times x is x squared. And x times 9 is 9x. And then I got to do it again with the 9. So 9 times x is 9x. And 9 times 9 is 81. And then I could go ahead and combine my like terms here in the middle. So I have x squared, and then 9 plus 9 is 18. And then I'm dealing with my x's, plus 81. So x plus 9 squared, you end up getting x squared plus 18x plus 81. Okay, now that's the long way, and if you want to do it that way, that's fine, okay? But I'm going to show you the little shortcut, okay? And I think most of you will really like this. If I have x plus 9 squared, remember, I'm going to square my first and my last term, so I get x squared, because x squared is literally x squared. And then 9 squared is going to be positive 81. It's a slanted one, my bad. I don't like that. I'm going to erase it. X squared, and then I get plus 81. Okay, but remember, I need a middle term. Okay, my middle term is twice the product of this multiplied. Okay, so x times 9 is 9x, but I got to double it. So 9x doubled is 18x. Okay, now if you do not like that way, that is okay, but it is a lot shorter. But you are never going to get x squared plus 81. There's always going to be a middle term here. That's why we're dealing with trinomials, okay? If you want to go ahead and flip it over, I'm going to do a couple more examples of the a plus b squared with you, just so you can get the hang of it. I don't have enough room on that sheet of paper, so I'm going to go ahead here. Let's say I want to do x plus 3 squared. Okay, that's really x plus 3 times x plus 3. And then I got to go ahead and FOIL it. So I would get x plus, not x plus 3. I get x times x, which is x squared. 3 times x is 3x. And then I got to redo it over here. So 3 times x is 3x again. And then 3 times 3 is 9. And then you would combine here. So you would end up getting x squared plus 6x plus 9. Okay. However, if you want to do the shortcut way, you square the first term. So x squared is literally x squared. Okay, I'm going to rewrite the problem up here just so you know I'm doing the same one. Okay, you'd square the last term. So 3 squared is 9. So notice that these numbers are always going to be positive right here when you have plus 3, right? Now, my middle term is the product of this doubled, okay? So 3 times x is 3x, and if I double that, I get 6x. So notice that they are the same, okay? So this one's a little bit more mental in your head, a little bit quicker, but you will still get the right answer if you take this way too, okay? We'll do one more like that. Let's say I do one with a variable, or not a variable, a coefficient up front. So I could do 4x plus 3 squared. Okay, that's the same as 4x plus 3 times 4x plus 3. And then I can FOIL or double distribute. So 4x times 4x, 4 times 4 is 16. X times x is x squared. And then 4x times 3, 4 times 3 is 12, and then I have an x with it. Now I got to do the same thing here. So 3 times 4x, 3 times 4 is 12, and I have an x with it. And then 3 times 3 is 9. Combine my like terms in the middle. My 16x squared stays the same. 12 plus 12 is 24, and I have x's here involved, so 12x's plus 12x's gives me 24x's. And that 9 stays the same. Okay, so that's the long way, but if you want the short way, I'm going to rewrite the problem right here, 4x plus 3 squared. I'm going to square my first term. So 4 squared is 16, and x squared is x squared. I'm going to square my last term. 3 squared is 9. My middle term, remember, I'm going to multiply these two terms and then double it. So 4x times 3 is 12x. 12x doubled is 24x. Remember, you will always get 3 terms, okay? So if it trips you up by squaring the first and last one and then going back to the middle, don't do it in that order. Go ahead and do the middle before you do that. I just always do it like that, okay? So that is for a plus b squared. We'll go ahead and go on to a minus b squared. So same thing here. I'm not going to have you rewrite it, but it is the same rules, so you can just write same rules if you want. Okay? So what it looks like, you have a minus b squared. Remember, we're going to expand that. So that's a minus b times a minus b. Then we're going to FOIL it. And I see up here I didn't make that arrow. I just want to make sure you guys got that. A times A is A squared. A times negative B, remember that negative sign is important, is going to be negative AB. Now I can move on here. I have negative B times A. Remember, alphabetical order is important here, just so you recognize that it's a like term. It's going to be negative AB. And then negative B times negative B, a negative times a negative is a positive. So you have plus B squared. So notice here, they're both positive at the end, okay? Now, just like what I did up here, I have to do here, which is to combine my like terms. So A squared, and then negative AB minus another AB is negative 2AB, and then plus B squared. So notice the only difference between this and this is the sign in the middle, right? When you have A plus B squared, you get a positive middle term. A minus B squared, it's a negative middle term, okay? So the result is A squared minus 2AB plus B squared, okay? Now we're going to do a couple of examples. I'll show you both ways again. Let's say I have x minus 3 squared. That is really x minus 3 times x minus 3. And then I'm going to FOIL or distribute, right? Distribute a couple times. So x times x is x squared. The x goes to the negative 3. X times negative 3 is negative 3x. And then I have negative 3 times x, which is, again, another negative 3x. That sign is very important. And then negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. Okay, now my x squared does not combine with anything, but my middle terms do. Negative 3x's minus another 3x's is negative 6x's. Okay, you have negative $3 and you spend another $3, and that 9 comes down. So that'd be my answer. Okay, but that's the long way. So if you want to do the short way, I'll show you how again. You have x minus 3 squared. So same rules apply as my last one we did up here. Okay, so I square the first term, which is x squared. Now I'm going to do the middle term with you guys before I do the last term, just so you don't forget about the middle term. Remember, I take the product of these two terms, so x times negative 3 is negative 3x, but then I double it and get negative 6x, and then I square the last term. Negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. Okay? Now, again, if you want to go on your back sheet of paper, I'm going to do a couple more problems with you that look like that. Okay, so we have about x minus 4 squared. Okay, x minus 4 squared is going to be x minus 4 times x minus 4. The x is going to go to both. X times x is x squared. And x times negative 4 is negative 4x. And then the negative 4 is going to go to both terms here. So negative 4 times x is negative 4x. And negative 4 times negative 4 is positive 16. Now, looking at this problem, I do see that I can combine like terms. I have negative 4x's minus 4x's. Negative 4 minus another 4 is going to give you negative 8, and you're dealing with x. And that positive 16 comes down. Now, again, if you were going to do it the shorter way, you have x minus 4 squared. You square the first term, so x squared is literally x squared. My middle term is the product of this doubled, okay? So x times negative 4 is negative 4x. If you double it, you get negative 8x. So notice that the sign is still negative. And the negative 4 squared is positive 16. Okay, negative times negative is a positive. I will do one more like that. I'm going to deal with a coefficient that's not 1 this time. So 2x minus 3 squared. That expands to 2x minus 3 times 2x minus 3. And then same thing, you're going to FOIL. 2x's times 2x's is 4x's squared. 2x's times negative 3 is negative 6x's. That negative 3 is going to go to both. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6x. I'm sorry, negative 3 times 2 is negative 6, and you have the x with it, okay? The negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. Notice, right? Combine like terms here. You're going to get 4x squared minus 12x's plus 9, because negative 6 minus 6 is another negative 12, okay? Again, that is a long way, so we're going to do one more shortcut way. 2x minus 3 squared. If you were to square the 2x, you would get 4x squared, because 2 squared is 4 and x squared is x squared. Okay, remember that 2 goes to both the coefficient and the variable. Your middle term is this product doubled. So 2x times negative 3 is negative 6x. You got to double that though, so you'll get negative 12x. And then negative 3 squared is positive 9. Okay? All right, now we're going to go to the very last part on the notes. The third special product of two binomials is called the difference of two squares. So notice you have the same terms, right? But they're just different signs in each parentheses. So you're still going to FOIL. A times A is A squared. And then A times negative B is negative AB. Again, alphabetical order. B times A is positive AB. Okay, alphabetical order. Remember, BA is the same as AB. We just like writing in alphabetical order to make sure we combine our like terms. And then B times negative B is negative B squared. Okay. Now, looking at this, I do see that my middle terms, again, are going to combine. But this time, I have a positive and negative. Negative AB plus AB, they're actually going to cancel. Okay, so you are left with A squared minus B squared. So up here, we ended up with a trinomial, right? 3 terms. Now we're going to only have a binomial, or 2 terms. Okay, so we can write it here if we want to as well, just so you guys can see that. I'll do a couple of examples with you. So I have x plus 3 times x minus 3. I can FOIL. X times x is x squared. X times negative 3 is negative 3x. 3 times x is 3x, and then 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. Okay? Combine like terms in the middle, negative 3 plus positive 3, right? Those just cancel. So you're left with x squared minus 9. So when you're doing difference of two squares, right, that middle term is going to cancel. Those middle terms will cancel. So you really only have to square the last, I'm sorry, you have to square the first. Then that last term gets squared, but it's going to be negative, okay? We'll do one more right here. You have x plus 5 times x minus 5. FOIL. X times x is x squared. X times negative 5 is negative 5x. And then we do 5 times x and 5 times negative 5. 5 times x is 5x, and then 5 times negative 5 is negative 25. Again, because it's a difference of two squares, those cancel, so you get x squared minus 25. So your first term got squared and your second term got squared, but it's negative, right? So it's important that you write the negative, otherwise it's going to be wrong. It's not plus 25, right? Here, your last term is always positive when you had the same thing squared. But here you don't have the same thing squared. You have a difference. So that's why you have a different sign here. Okay? We'll do one more like that just so you guys really get the hang of it. Let's say I want to do... We'll do a couple more actually. I lied. We'll do 2x minus 1 times 2x plus 1. Foil. 2x times 2x's is 4x's squared. Negative 1 times 2x. Oh, I skipped a step. 2x times 2x's is 4x squared. 2x times 1 is 2x. Negative 1 times 2x is negative 2x. And then negative 1 times 1 is negative 1. Again, that middle term goes away, so you get 4x squared minus 1. So you could just do 2x squared, which is 4x squared, and then you could just do negative 1 squared, which is just going to be negative 1. When you square it, though, it's still negative here. Does that make sense? You can't respond back to me, so I don't know why I said that, but you can always email me if it doesn't make sense to you. We'll do one more. We'll do 3x plus 3 times 3x minus 3. Okay, I'm not going to FOIL this time because I want you guys to see the shortcut, but you can still FOIL and you will still get the right answer. So 3x squared is 9x squared. So I do 3 squared, which is 9, then x squared, which is x squared. And then 3 squared, but it's negative, right? So 3 squared is 9, but I need to make sure that I keep the negative sign out in front. Okay? If you guys have any other questions, please make sure that you are emailing, coming to our office hours. Just know that I miss you guys so much. I hope you guys have a good weekend, even though every day kind of feels like a weekend. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.